thinking back actually to early on in the Invisible Difference project, I can remember being really quite shocked around conversations of ownership of the body, which really challenged my own assumptions of, particularly as a dancer, seeing my body as mine and the actions of my body as my choice, and having a sense of ownership of that, and then following that on into my practice. I've become really aware that in my planning and in my thinking about what I might offer David and Welly as an invitation or a way into improvisation, that question, those questions around who is the author here. Something I'm particularly drawn to in that rhythm that would be interesting to try out with two dancers, that how you find that moments of shared rhythm, and how there's that, how there's also a sense of different kind of rhythms working in harmony. Or I'm trying to avoid musical terms because I'm not thinking about it musically, but for me it's tied into qualitative ideas. Like I've written knotting or sticking, being unstuck, and it's that rhythm that something goes unstuck, and then the rhythm is opening up from that. So it's the rhythm of the movement that interests me.
I apologise. When I go into a space, I just want to make something. I'm not interested in, satisfying somebody's agenda or whatever. I want to make something that A, I'm happy with being on stage doing, and B, that people appreciate it for what it is, not trying to put some kind of, isn't he clever, special, yay, sort of umbrella over the whole inclusive work.
So it's your job to maintain momentum, so that actually what Dave has to do is work really hard to go, there. And then you allow the catch to happen, the throw to happen, and then the momentum comes into another catch. Keep going, Wells.
In the past, Kate and I've worked with choreographers where they come in and they've got an agenda and they've got a really set way of, okay, I'm working with this group or working with this person and I want them to do this. And actually when you've got a different physicality, what they've got in their head, quite often they can't get up your body. And so they end up getting frustrated and you end up getting frustrated, and I just think time quite often gets wasted.
first thing is quite prescribed, but I just would like to try it, and that is for each of you to create a hand phrase. For me, that's something about you both being on the floor that I'm quite drawn to. There's also something personally for me about this, about the choreography of two hands that I'm really seduced by, that is so different from my own kind of. It's different. The quality is different. So I'm being selfish and indulging my wanting that.
Everybody's got their own particular way of moving. And you have to find a way of tuning into that. And when you work with somebody for a while, you find that it just happens naturally. Like the first time you dance with someone, it's a learning process for both of you. And it just settles, there's no sort of defining moment where you go, got it, it just settles.
So it could be really tiny as well.
Do you want it involving the rest of the body, or do you want it to be kind of like
do you want it just in this space? Obviously, the older you get, your options are limited as well. You have to start being a bit more creative that way, because you can't leap about and run about and da-da-da-da, so you have to think in other terms. So for me, it's about detail and small and stuff like that, because it's easier on the body, and you can put a lot of work into the small stuff. You let other people do the big stuff, that's fine.
So we've got to do tilt, fall, a tilt that goes into a fall, spiral, swoop, knot, unravel, shunt, flick and settle.
I don't necessarily think that people are assuming that we get in the studio and talk about being disabled, because I don't think we do ever. I think it's actually it becomes about the body and about the experience of dancing and making dance and rehearsing dance, but I don't think that is out there very much. I think what has shifted now, there is more potential for disabled artists to really interrogate their own experience of working in dance. Historically, we've gone, this is dance, this is what dance looks like, and dance is going to let you in. But I think that there is starting, and there's a potential shift for people who are interested in challenging that somehow, that they're saying, well, actually, this is what my dance looks like. This is what my experience is and my practice looks like. And yeah, I'll dip into that a bit, but actually, here's what I can do to this. Here's how I can change that, and that is what excites me. I do think it's very difficult to, in the way that dance, including disabled dancers, is written about or critiqued, it's very difficult to separate the disability narrative from the dancing body. So I think what we don't talk about is the actuality, the reality of that body, because I think there's a fear that if you talk about your body that has no legs, your body that has one leg, my body that has one hand, that if we talk about the specifics of those bodies without talking about without bringing in the disability narrative, that somehow that's blunt or rude. But then I think that's problematic for our bodies, because if you don't talk about it, the way that your body moves or your body moves or my body moves, then you're not talking about it in a critical way.
It's true.
I was talking to a choreographer the other week who said something so interesting, that he was talking about this binary of normal, not normal, including disabled, non-disabled, gay, straight. What really interests him is that space in between, that ground in the middle, where you're not necessarily identifying as I am disabled, therefore this means nothing to me, or I'm not disabled, therefore this means nothing to me. But there's this really amazing space in the middle.
Romeo and Juliet, end of that.
So it's something, there's something about even nestling into smaller smaller points of contact.
Okay.
It's just trying to dig in a bit, but actually what we need to look at is that they don't punctuate it too much, that we see them like these passing glimmers.